Hello, and we are going to be doing another Lego set tonight. So I saw Captain Marvel today, so we'll do a city set because that makes no sense. You thought I was going to do a Marvel set, or at least some comic book related one, but no, not today, because I don't have any available, but I'll do this set because I want to do something quick, and these ones are usually pretty quick. The box is quite bulky though, so it might not be. It might be a... Oh, I don't have the... It might be quite long. But you mainly get these kind of sets just for the minifigures, right? I always have. It's like the battle... It's a battle pack of city escapades. Except... This is a strange city thing because there's no police officers. Or maybe there are. He's got a machete, so this is going to be exciting. It's a bit actually a weird sort of theme. They've really kind of gone a bit off tangent when the city theme is all about, we don't need that, all about being in the jungle. It's like the people at Lego, oh no, moved this. The people at Lego don't know what the city is. Maybe they all live on a farm somewhere. And they'll be like, we heard that in the city they got gators. That might be true in some cities, but not many that I know of. Okay, and it says down here, boat does not float. So if you want something to float your boat, this is not it. So let's open this up, and these are the instructions. And it looks like there's going to be some stickers going on here, but you never know, they could be printed on. And there aren't any stickers in the box, so it looks like we're going to get printed tiles. We do. There you go. There's the one that I was thinking of, and it has been printed. So that's nice. I wonder if that's a common thing for city sets. Is that like the way they normally go? Because I can't honestly say I've had that. No, that's not true. I've had some of those Arctic ones, which are also, I think, city sets, which again makes no sense because that's not the city. But I'm just going to make the alligator straight off. I'm not even going to open. I know that you have to use one of those little... Well, I'm going to leave it for a second because I don't know how you put that last bit on. But I do like the way that the alligators have evolved, or crocodiles, have evolved over the years. I'm sure it's got something to do with the feet or the tail. I'm going to look this up because they keep talking about alligators and crocodiles all the time in every single video. And I don't know the difference. Like, I don't really know the difference between turtles and tortoises. Tortoises have the feet and the turtles have flippers things. I don't know. So I should. I will look them up and then I will be wise. And I can say, this is quite handy that they've all got blue legs. So let's just open it and stop trying to do it without looking at the picture. So this is her. No, that's not her face. I lost her head. Don't go away. Well, that's a bit odd. One face is there, but the other two are in this bag. It's not exactly... it's kind of a bit all over this show. I like the fact that there's a yellow frog, but I'm going to have to be honest here. I've got quite a few yellow frogs because I had that game, you know, the old style game things, board games they had. The one with all the 4 different colours of frogs. I have that. In fact, I may have 2 because it's such a useful set to have if you're into collecting frogs, and I know that everybody is, because how can you not be? Where's the hair gone? Here's the hair. It's over here. The alligator crocodile was munching on her hair. So she looks like that, and it feels like, oh, I forgot to put in her thing that she's her bag thing, but in fact that's just printed on, so we don't have to put it on. It doesn't come with that. Okay, let's do this. Well, we'll do this bit here. Well, no, actually I'll leave that bit to the end because those are all silly bits, and that will turn up at the end. Alright, and I want to finish building the alligator, so let's just find out. I'm going to kind of move these things around. I've got to make these guys, don't I? Got to put at least some effort into finishing the people off. Wasn't paying attention. No, that guy is the scientist. Oh, they're going to be happy scientists. They've got 2 faces. One face looks like that, which is quite cute, and that one's a bit terrified. It's always that way, isn't it? But that's a very, very, very interesting smile. So this must be this guy's head. So they're like the adventurer person. She's like the sensible adventurer person, and he's like the charming but reckless, charismatic but reckless adventurer person. Where's his other legs gone? Well, he's gonna have a bad day now. Oh, there they are. All right. And that's what I was thinking of. Yeah, I kept thinking it was the big size ones, the normal size connectors, but it's not. It's just this one. So you just go down the bottom like this, and then it's connected on, which is quite a neat way of doing things. It looks good. Like, there we go. You always lose the heads. Like, I think, actually, the thing about this one is it feels different. The plastic feels a bit lighter than the other ones that I'm aware of, that I've had in previous experiences. And let's go here. Let's do this. Let's do this fast, because no, we took 8 minutes. 8 minutes is, or 7 minutes. So that's a good start. I always forget to subtract 1. So there's a time remaining on my camera, and that is for 29 minutes. And so if I look at the camera and it says 22, I think 8 minutes I've used up, because I'm starting from 30, but it's not 30. It's 29. So every time I get it wrong and I'm out by a minute, that's why, because I keep forgetting it's just 29 minutes. But I don't see why they couldn't have just gone, like, if there's this whole EU regulation thing, and you can't have cameras, photo cameras that record more than 30 minutes of video, because then they are classed as video recorders, and that changes everything. That, what was I going to say? That, well, why couldn't they just do 29 minutes and 59 seconds? They could have squeezed a little bit of extra juice out of that. Okay, and this one goes there. So this is obviously the boat. So I'm not even going to... I feel like there should be... I'm wondering, because there's two... Oh, why doesn't it stick? Okay, stick. Well, there's two of these base pieces. Like, there's a piece of land, but I think the piece of land is going to go with that thing. And this one goes over there. I'm going to say what this set reminds me of in a very, very loose sort of way in a second when we get to it. But let us continue on in this voyage here, and then we've got to find these. There's two of these, and they go there. That's an interesting little trick, isn't it? So that's like a little gap on the side, which is nice. It makes it look like it's a feature on the side. And what have we got? We've got these ones coming up. I bet there's going to be some steering wheel stuff going on, or steering apparatus, and some orange, because that's the orange there. Oh, this is a strange orange. What does it remind me of? It reminds me of something I used to make. I think it reminds me, I used to boil up pumpkin and make it into a very good soup. But I think there's like butternut or one other kind of similar thing. The water, or the end result, was a very similar colour to this, and so it makes me think of my failed attempts at making pumpkin or pumpkin-like soup, which may or may not be the case for many other people. In fact, they may. This is a strange way of doing it. Like, they could have put a normal one there, because it's just going to have that over the top. So weird. Like, they could have had like one of those, but they've gone and had the single stud one, when it makes no difference. But obviously it makes difference for the next piece. Maybe that's the kind of thing they do, like use playability surveys or something, and they get a whole bunch of kids and some adults to come in and play and build the set. I've missed to complete the other side. And they're like, well, you know, you've got one with 2 studs, and then you've got one with 1 studs, and I'm not entirely sure which way around they go. Like, I look at the picture and it seems clear, but once you get down to putting your fingers in the thing and moving it around and all that, it's all way more confusing than it should be. So they're like, okay, we'll just make them the same. I suspect that is exactly what happens. Ooh, there's going to be some fans in the back here, I think. And I can see them, and I'm not going to put them on just yet, even though it's so easy to do. And I'm even going to put effort in to getting the colours correct. So there's a red So this is a really strange thing. Do these kind of boats really have those lights? I guess they do. And I guess they're like different colours because that's how they are on aeroplanes, aren't they? So you've got to do it like the aeroplanes do, and these do have propellers, so they're essentially aeroplanes. That's the defining characteristic of an aeroplane. Even the ones that have jet engines. They're just not very good aeroplanes. And I should call them airplanes. I like saying aeroplanes though. I don't really know. If you're not from like New Zealand, then other countries say it. Like I think it's the English way of saying it. I don't really know. I've never actually paid attention if other people say aeroplanes or airplanes. I think people say here, just say whatever they feel like saying. It depends what TV show they watched last night. If it was a show that was British and was about aeroplanes, then they might say aeroplanes. And if the show was American and was about airplanes, they might say airplanes. And they might just think, well, it makes a lot more sense. They're planes that go in the air, as opposed to those planes that go on the water, like this one, see? Point has been made. Right. It's like this, I don't think, if you're a kid and you're wanting to learn stuff on this channel, that's probably, these are not planes. Right. And, like I feel bad. What if somebody failed their test? When they sat there and they said, those boats that have the fans at the back are called seaplanes. No, they're not. Or lake planes, water planes, water body planes. Because you know what, seaplanes look completely different. And I suspect, I can almost guarantee, I definitely feel this is the case, that I have made a Lego seaplane at some point. So there must be one somewhere. I just feel like I have. Like I just feel like I could not have gone through life. I was fascinated by seaplanes when I was a kid. I just thought they were neat ideas, and I always wanted to see one. And I'm not entirely sure I've ever seen a seaplane, or at least seen a seaplane land in real life. Maybe I have, and I've forgotten. Could have been. So anyway, Captain Marvel. So I was going to do an electronics video tonight, but which is the other channel that I'm currently doing. But I didn't want to talk about Captain Marvel on that channel. And I don't really have that much to say. I did enjoy it. Like I watched a review of it, and there were some valid points, but I just feel like it's a fun film to watch. Like it's not trying to be anything amazing, and I think people are they want things to be amazing because they're all like, oh well, you know, Avengers Endgame is coming up, and it's like the second part of the big Marvel event, and so every film around it has to be amazing, kind of. I don't know, but I think it was quite good. It's kind of a Nick Fury film as well, for sort of introducing. It's like it's an origin story for him, as much as for Captain Marvel, Carol. But I thought it was fine. Like it goes well. That you don't sit there going, "Oh, this is dragging on." I did see some valid points about how the story maybe could have been better, and I think that's true. But really, at the end of the day, I don't personally particularly care. Like it was fine. It was just like, well, some movies are going to be profound, and some movies are going to be, they do the job. There were lots of subtle things there that I'm sure are going to annoy lots of people, but I don't care about those people very much. So if you know what I'm talking about, then, and you are annoyed at these things and you think this is all bad, well, I'm sorry, I'm not really agreeing or particularly whatever, but other than that, it's good. It's good, and I'm happy that I've seen little boys being excited to see a film with a female main storyline. It's a female-centered film. That's what I like to see. I like to see everybody excited about every kind of film. So that's good for me. And I do quite. The other thing I liked, and I thought was interesting, and I think it's a little bit depressing. So we've had a lot of 80s. I put these little gold things in here, like this. We've always finished this with, oh, I get this. They're putting their treasure in here. So this is where the police stuff comes in. So the criminal activities. There's always got to be some criminal activity, I guess. It's like, what a place to be in the police city. And we're going to put the cool frog on. What was I saying? Oh, I've lost. Oh yes, 90s. Like, so, you know, we've gone through a big 80s revival type thing in recent years. Everyone loves the 80s. Maybe just the people who were around in the 80s. And now there's kind of, we're coming on to the 90s. And I think watching Captain Marvel, one part was it's nice to reminisce about the 90s and the music from the 90s and other little quirky things. I think some of the things were like, just being a little bit funny, but it's good. But then I'm thinking, it's kind of going to be a bit depressing. Like when you go to the 2000s, the early 2000s, because it's all like 9/11 and financial crisis and George Bush. It's not really going to have the same charm. It's just all going to be like a bit of a downer in comparison. So, but then again, you had the Cold War in the 1980s, but they finished, they began the whole, USSR thing, the collapse began at the end of the 80s. So, you could argue, looking back, that was not so positive, but then people look back now and it's positive. So I think sometime they will. Anyway, that's very technical for a kids channel. But wait, I'm confused now. I'm going to go down confused because I've got an extra one. Oh, it's fallen off. Wait, the frog goes on top of that. Alright, there we go. Maybe I should just have a channel where I talk about random things. Like real random. Well, I'm going to do that when I start talking to other people on channels. So the snake goes here. So I did want to talk about the snake. I don't think I've actually finished this. In fact, I'm really confused because I've got another one of these. And, well, I know those things belong in these guys. That can be the scientist here. And that's that thing. So we haven't put the propellers on. And I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to look through. And so there's 2 machetes. So that's interesting. If there's one thing I do not think a kid should ever have, it's a machete. So sorry kids, don't go playing with machetes. They're just way too... I'll put this face on. Easy to chop things with. So don't go playing with people's machetes. And that this is the worst video ever. This is a kids channel. Alright, and then this goes here. I'm going to put those on. When I'm going to go back. And it says here on the instructions, so this is kind of cool. It says here that there are one of these. So I haven't misplaced the other one. I've just ended up. So there you go. Look at this. Bonus time. I've actually got a free one of these in the set. I wonder if anyone else has. If anyone watches this and they've got this set, please tell me if you got a bonus one of these, because that's kind of cool. It's like I feel pretty chuffed because these are useful. This is way better than getting an extra one of these. Like, so at least the good thing is we can put all of our spares onto here and see what they all look like. Well, maybe it's meant to be a spare. That's the thing, because they don't list the spares on here. They don't say that you get 4 of those. You do get 4 gold pieces, and you do get 2 red pieces, and it says 1 times. You probably can't see that on the camera, but it says 1 times there. So they're not including the spares. So I guess maybe that's actually just intended to be the way that you're meant to have 2 of those. But that's just the weirdest thing ever. I've had that before. I've had an extra large piece, and I'm not used to it. So please somebody tell me, or I'll just have to Google it. Well, what am I going to Google? Do you ever get large spare pieces in Lego? I guess so. That's probably the... Look at this guy. Now that guy looks scary. That guy. So you two shouldn't be trusted. So I don't understand the story behind this. So I'm going to finish up because, okay, they're driving around in this thing. We can look in the back. So this is their story. This is to help you understand what's going on. So this guy's driving in these alligators, and they've got these tools. And that's a tool. So this thing here is a tool. I don't know, that guy's supposed to have it, but this is the tool to like keep alligators at bay. And oh no, they're not finding treasure. They're finding ancient artifacts or something. They're like, I don't know, ancient civilizations gold coins. No, that doesn't seem right. Why would they just be sitting there underneath that? So they must be. They're out there and they're hunting for something. And I don't understand why. That guy's got the cool old school. We didn't talk about the old school silly cameras. So this is back in the 90s. and I still use old school cameras back in the 90s, so I can say that without feeling like they definitely didn't have many digital cameras back then. Always, you get out, well, I can't right now, but I do have a really cool digital camera from probably the late 90s or early 2000s. But anyway, so these are these characters, and so that's that, and that's the end of the story. And I don't understand what's going on. Why is there gold coins there? I think they just have to put the gold coins in because this is the city theme and everything is about robbing from everybody else, and it's all about money and bling, and that's what they're after, and that's just a cool rainforesty frog, which is worth it. And I don't think I've got a snake this color, and the snake does attach to that neat little thing there. So I have mentioned before my irritation that the snake is not that useful because it's very hard to attach it to anything. I guess this is the way you attach it. So anyway, thanks for watching that. I've rambled on about too many things. Thanks, Captain Marvel. And like, share, and subscribe, and catch... oh, I didn't talk much about her. She's got two... No, she's only got one face. She's got one face. And he's got one face. But the... I guess he's the scientist guy with the nerdier guy. They've got two faces. And one of them is terrified. And one of them is happy. So, oh wow, there's always that guy there. Cool, thanks for watching, bye.